Okay, this second piece. This took about 8.5 hours before I stopped. I wouldn't necessarily say I finished this one. There's a lot of things I would do if I wanted to carry on with it, but here we go. The intention with this one was to do some just like straight fantasy art. It's something I kind of associate with the Amiga. My first introduction to the Amiga was actually at my dad's house. My parents were separated. He doesn't actually remember having owned one. He had an Amiga 500, and he also had a bunch of fancy art books, Roger Dean and Boris Vallejo and stuff. And I remember trying to draw some things. I drew some weird little bugs on the A500. That was fun. Weird little sort of science fiction bugs. Anyway, here we go. She stood on a cliff top with her little droid companion looking at the alien structure / spaceship thing with some sort of alien drone ship searching below, or possibly zapping it with a fiery thing. Originally I was thinking it was a searchlight, but I then decided it would look better and more interesting if it was something else. The trees. These trees. I spent quite a lot of time detailing these trees and then decide I don't want trees because they don't really fit the atmosphere. And then afterwards, when I'm nearly finished, I'm like, actually, I quite like those trees looking at it. Oh well. I could bring the trees back from one of the earlier versions if I wanted to. But it's fine. I don't need trees. All of the broad stroke stuff you saw at the start, I think that's actually some of the most interesting parts of a piece. Just seeing that for the vast majority of a picture it looks like total bollocks, and it only starts to come together towards the end, or sometimes towards the middle, depending on how much detail you want to add after the fact. Sometimes I over detail, but with pixel art it's quite difficult to do that. See that, where it went back in time? If you watch the other video first, I mentioned that phenomenon. That was me pressing Alt-S and then quitting out. It's not how you save. So I had to draw that bit of lighting again. Oh well. No real loss. Only lost like 20 minutes or something. That area up there with the strange ball is actually one of the most interesting parts of the picture, I think. Again, same extra half bright palette I use on the game. I think towards the end of this picture I'd maybe used less than 32 colours again, or if I have used 32, I only slightly went over, so I could have put it in 32 quite easily if I'd wanted to. Detailing. Had some issues with her spine. The good old cloud dizzers. It's kind of interesting being in shot. Just realised it being 4:3 aspect ratio, There's no reason I can't just use the extra space at the side to fill with, in this case, player and my stupid face. Hi. Now this picture I'd say I probably used, I did this before the other one, 90% graphics tablet, 10% mouse. Now the other picture, which I did afterwards, as I'm getting more used to using the Wacom with the Amiga, I'd say I used the mouse less than 1%. I barely used it. The only time I used it is when I needed to stamp something, and that happened maybe like for 5 clicks in the entire picture. So yeah, way less than 1%. Things like dithering, which I used to find quite difficult with the graphics tablet, it's actually really easy now. The driver I settled on is which one is it? Pen Partner in the end. It gives the best sort of performance out of the box with my graphics tablet anyway. The rocks are one of the worst shaded parts. What the heck was I doing there? Just testing purple slime. Light sources are all over the place with this pick. They don't really fully make sense. But oh well. It's a stylistic choice, honest. It's not just a error. If you saw the Amigathon picture I did, you'll see some serious similarities between the way I drew the mountains. I really like doing mountains in this palette. I don't know if other people have the sort of fantasy and sci-fi art association. It's just something from the 80s and early 90s. Yeah, I actually have most of the old fantasy art books that I used to look back in then. So cool. Then I went to art college where they literally said that that was pointless. Good job. I would much rather be drawing comic-y styles and fantasy art styles and just weird nonsense than most other things. That's another thing I thought I was going to do. I was going to make her stick way more detailed. I never got around to doing it. It's fine. It's submitted now. Just leave it at that. Oh, and then at some point I decided, yeah, white hair. The reason I did that is because I keep drawing this long, dark-haired character. I don't want it to look like it's the same one again. It's like, well, she's just doing all this weird stuff. Not same character. Different lady. Space lady. Although not necessarily a space lady, as we'll find out in a little while. Doo-doo-doo. This is a picture that really doesn't have a story. It sort of wrote itself as I was drawing it. I thought it was kind of interesting having the things looking like they're coming out of the ground and hitting the spaceship, rather than these big sticks coming out of the spaceship. Droid shading. Something I never really probably fully finished, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Droid's fine. Rocks. Some nasty cushioning going on in the shading on the rocks, but oh well. This is the best bit. It's got a UK plug socket on the back of that droid. That's why it might not actually be in space. Unless the UK have colonized space and took their power sockets with us. It's useful to be able to charge stuff by plugging it into the back of your little robot. If you go look at all the detail in the leaves, I'm just like, yeah, trees. I'm not 100% certain why I got rid of the trees. But I did. Seemed like a good idea at the time. This part of the picture becomes probably easily the best shaded part. Oh well. See, that looks alright, doesn't it, with the green down there? Not the full-blown trees, but still some green down there. In my brain, I was just like, this green, it maybe looked a bit more green on the Amiga monitor, doesn't fit the mood of the piece somehow. I think I might actually bring the green back. See, here I change it into the sort of wasteland purpley thing. The green was alright. Oh well. I mean, the purpley greys are alright too. Womp womp. Kind of looks a bit vomity when you don't have it green anymore. It looks like that insulation stuff. Oh, some little cliffs. Looks like it's been blasting big holes in the ground. Maybe with the trees, when I was drawing it at one point, I thought, wow, that reminds me now of slightly of the intro sequence to Flashback. Which is crazy because it looks nothing like the intro sequence to Flashback. But that might have made me think, oh, I can't have trees, which is mental because it's nothing like it. Oh well. Detailing the machinery. I like this purple for the metals. Kind of reminds me of the Turrican 2 intro sequence. Oh damn, that intro sequence. Ugh. I think I'd basically made up a headcanon for Turrican. And then I was just listening to that great, I don't know how you pronounce his name, Chris Hulsbeck, music on the title screen of Turrican 2, and then the story happens and you're just like, what's this shit? I don't want to be this guy. Who's this guy? Bren Maguire? He looks like some sort of strange anime character. Yeah, that was frustrating. I got over it, obviously. I don't have no problems with that character now. I had a similar reaction when I realised that I've spoken about this online, but you won't have seen that. Yeah, the little bubble dragons in Bubble Bobble when I fully realized that they are actually a pair of annoying looking little kids. I was absolutely distraught. Like, no, I refuse to accept that these two awesome cute little bubble dragon things were just slightly creepy looking children. Oh well. I don't think there's like a single logical storyline going on throughout the Bubble Bobble Rainbow Islands games. It seems like they figured out that people prefer the bubble dragons and they just carry on using them as if they were always bubble dragons. I think that's what's going on. Otherwise, the implications are pretty strange. They got changed into dragons, but they were little kids. And they, I guess, cured themselves of it. And then they got changed back. Oops. What's going on with that? But within the world of, like, Puzzle Bobble or Bust a Move or whatever you want to call it, there are a whole bunch of other creatures that look like bubble dragons and are similar. I need to go look on, see if there's some sort of Bubble Bobble extended universe wiki. I'm just talking about Bubble Bobble now. Let's talk about this instead. And I'm drawing some more stuff. Little explodey bits. Shiny lights. Highlights over here. You'll see on this video it's probably a bit lighter than it looks in the final image. It's actually quite difficult to see the difference between the darkest tones and black. Anyway, yes, here's the finished, massive inverted commas, the finished version of this piece. And I'm pretty happy with it. Every time I look at it, I'm just like, well, I should have done that, or some other thing. At one point, I was just like, wow, I can animate it. I was like, no, I can't. It would take too long. But it'll certainly do. Thanks for watching. And it's been really fun drawing these. And now I have workflows, I can do it a lot more often. If you'd like to drop in sometime, watch me drawing on Twitch. And I'll continue posting various videos over here on YouTube as well. See you next time.